Hello and welcome to Eyewitness Report on Channels Television. I'm Yomi Otaigbe. In this edition, we take you to a waterside community in Ogun State to bring you an update on trade by barter, a common business practice in Makuami. We'll also bring you up to speed with the situation between the residents of Lekki Gardens Estate Phase 2 and the developer, Lekki Gardens Estate Limited. We'll be back with details of these and more in a moment. In 2019, we brought you the story of trade by barter, an age-long means of trade which still exists in Makuami, a waterside community in Ogun State. Eyewitness Report returns to the community to examine the impact of this form of trade and how much development has been witnessed in the area.
Makuami is approximately 177 kilometers away from Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. The agrarian community in Ogun Waterside local government area is the last of the Ijebu towns, bordered by Ekpe in Lagos to the west, Ijo-Arugbo and Atijere, the largest speaking part of Ondo State, to the south. Due to this proximity to water, the people of Makuami engage in logging, fishing and other trading activities. Makuami offers a warmth and welcoming atmosphere, typical of what we met when we last visited. The way of life of the people here remains intact. Not much has changed about Makuami as regards infrastructure development, although the community is now connected to the national grid and parts of the road tarred.
When you came 2 years ago, there was no public power supply here. Now we have, and in addition to that, we have purchased 67 solar-powered street lights for the community. I mean, everywhere is at least well lit now. We have also graded the township roads on our own.
It also has a new palace and a king, the Osobia of Makuami. This is a big plus to the development of the community, as one of the leaders, Chief Tayajai, recounts.
We are lucky to have had a father, a royal father, His Royal Highness, the Osobia of Makuami, who is leading the crusade in this community. He is doing wonderfully well. And since his coronation, he has highlighted so many things, and he has been an icon, not just to our community here, but to the entire local government. What we have done within the 2 years, we are going very, very fine. That's the way I will put it. Because there is a steady progress committed to by indigenes of this local government under the leadership of the traditional ruler. So we under the traditional ruler, we were able to formulate or form a group called Makuami Transitional Group. That is to lift us from our slumber, from our sleep of the past, now to where we are today. It's a fantastic step towards taking us from this rural environment and bringing us to what is happening in other communities.
Despite these developments, Chief Ajayi, who is also a former council chairman, decries the absence of state government in the area.
I feel sorry to say that the government, the presence of government is not anywhere in this community. Nothing, even in the entire local government. Nothing, not even water. The least thing that government can provide is to talk about water. It's not available here. No road construction, nothing. The only one we have now is being done by the federal member of the House of Representatives who comes from this constituency. Outside that, nothing. So we're appealing to the government, both at the state and federal level, to come and assist.
Another concern is the persisting menace presented by water hyacinth.
This issue of water hyacinth could have been addressed when it started developing. General Obasanjo was president at that time, and we appealed to him. He sent some harvesters to Lagos State, sent some to Ondo State, and left Ogun. I personally went to Abuja to meet him that time, but the Baba cannot do everything. So what he did was to arrange for us to excavate some of those ones that are disturbing us in our immediate environment, which we did. This water hyacinth is something that even the federal government cannot tackle. They are not very serious about it because it is all over the world. Now in our own area here, the thing starts from Lagos State, that is as from Ekpa area, down through our own area here and down to Ondo State and to Edo State and Delta. On a given day, the entire area will be covered. You can stay inside the water hyacinth for 5 days, 6 days. You will not be able to get out. You will be screaming and shouting. People will be saying you, but you cannot move until the thing recedes and goes away. And it is seasonal. When it comes, because of the tidal waves, the whole area is blocked. And that is still the situation now. It's not being addressed by any government.
The center of attraction is the Ajebo market, which hosts traders and buyers from far and wide who transact in businesses both in cash and by barter. Market activities start from the early hours of the day and last into the night.
When you get fish, ritual gari day, even you don't have any money, come meet me, say, okay, I want to collect eja gari, eja ogede. So they will give you ogede, then you collect fish. You collect gari, you give me fish. Even if you get bitter leaf, ewuro, you can take and collect fish. If you get cocoyam, if you get orange, they can mango. Because all these larger people, they like all those things. They can give you fish, collect mango, collect orange, collect pineapple, say anything.
I can say now that in the old Ogun State, we are the only one that is doing the trade by barter. When I become the Oba, I realized that my people were really happy with the trade by barter and they are making it. And my vision is that by God's grace, before next year, the trade by barter will be bigger than what we are seeing now, inshallah. And that's my prayer, and that is what I'm working for.
There's not been any change effected yet since 2019. Some of the features are already wearing off, including the roof, though it's no distraction to the traders.
I have a plan for the market. My plan is that, number one, I want to wall it round and make it a modern market. But the trade by barter will still be going because we are really enjoying it. You know, we don't have money here, but when you have gari, we give you fish. You have banana, we give you something else. We are happy about that, and God is really helping us with that. But by God's grace, I know it will still come better than what we are seeing now.
In addition to the contribution communally made to grow Makuami, the people have hatched a 5-year developmental plan to make their community the signage of all eyes.
We have gathered our sons and daughters within and outside the country, the best of brains, and we have plenty of them, and mapped out a 5-year strategic development plan for every sector: health, education, infrastructure, tourism, most importantly. Because we also visited the Commissioner for Culture and Tourism in Abeokuta, and during the visit, that's led by my traditional ruler, the Oshobi of Makuami, Oba Kazim Adeshino Salami. He led that the delegation. I was privileged to be there too. And the target for the state government is to make Makuami the hub of tourism in Ogun State, and we are working assiduously towards achieving that goal.
Though the state government has visited to verify claims of the practice of trade by barter within its borders, not much has been done for the people and the tourism potential of Makuami. The Commissioner for Culture and Tourism says the state is open to collaboration from organizations or individuals interested in promoting the people of Makuami and their cultural practices.
That is an untapped potential. Any private organizations, anybody that have interest in trying to make it a befitting market, a world class, in order to be able to scale up their practice to a world class standard, the door is open. We are stretching forth our hand of partnership as a government, that if you have interest in trying to partner with us, then come around, bring your proposal. Let's enter into an MOU, an agreement, so that together we can also make it, a befitting place for every one of us as a community, particularly the indigenous of Ogun State that are all over the world, in the diaspora, in the country, that have interest in building their community. They should come around. The government is ready to partner with anyone. We have our 5 pillars, the agenda, the Shire 5 pillars. So it's part of it. Infrastructural development. It's part of one of the 5 agendas of this administration.
Despite the challenges faced by the community, culture has continued to play a significant role in strengthening their bond of unity through the Okosi or boat regatta, which is one of their practices. It's the celebration of the feats of their forebears, who were great hunters and warriors. The men lead the charge by mounting a replica of a war boat, accompanied by heavy percussion, drumming and dancing.
This year's boat regatta has attracted people from all over. We have improved on it. We have modernized it without touching on certain cultural aspects. It's a great improvement, and the turnout has been fantastic. We can boast of more than 4,000 people coming from far and near to watch the famous Okoshi festival. And please take note, Okoshi, which is a boat regatta, started from this town, from Makuami, so from here, that they took it to Ekpe and some other communities. In the next 3, 4, 5 years, we'll see another Makuami. But for now, we thank God Almighty, and we thank, on behalf of my traditional ruler and the people of Makuami, Channels TV, for that wonderful focus or documentary you did on Makuami. It has really attracted attention, positive one, to this community, and we are not resting on our oars. We want to build on it so that in the next 2 years, you come to this committee, you see a small London in Makuami.
Makuami will continue to attract attention as long as this trade by barter lasts in the community. It will, however, leave a negative impression on visitors if the dearth of infrastructure remains and there are Jebo markets left in the state of disrepair.
Welcome back. After several efforts, the management of Lekki Gardens Estate Limited finally explains its position following recent protests in one of its estates, Lekki Gardens Phase 2 in Ajah, Lagos State. The residents picketed the company's office in protest to express their dissatisfaction with the poor state of infrastructure provided by the developer, accusing it of failing to fulfill its part of contractual agreement.
In a peaceful and organized manner, residents of Lekki Gardens Phase 2 in Ajah picket the management office of Lekki Gardens Estate Limited, located within the estate.
We are tired of empty promises.
These residents, representing over 1,000 inhabitants of the estate, are protesting the lack of infrastructure in some cases and the collapse of existing ones in the estate, which has made living uncomfortable.
We are challenged with the infrastructures from flooding, sewage, poor water systems that are not functional. You'll be in your apartment, about 45% of the estate is flooded as we speak, and yet we call its attention, it's not working. Over 75% of the entire estate is faced with sewage overflowing. Sewage is a great hazard. They try to do a couple of things, but it's not functional. We running a facility management in this estate without no office. We've called its attention. This estate originally from design is not to exceed more than 1,700 homes, but we have greater than 2,000 homes in this estate without infrastructures.
The protest appears to have been convened after a downpour, as deposits of rainwater resulting from flash flood is noticed on roads within the estate.
Yeah, but what we are seeing here now is not ordinary flooding.
While these rain deposits could easily be overlooked, what is however unusual is that they mix with sewage spillage, according to residents, and this results to environmental hazards. The sewage treatment plant is not working optimally.
What we are facing here is unacceptable standard. The health hazards is so much here. We have flood. What you see here now, this flood you see, is just for some few minutes rain. If it is a day, you will not even be able to stand here. So you have this. And one important thing that you should know, that we want Richard to know, is that it's not ordinary water that you see here. You see water, the flood, mixed with sewage. This is not what we paid for. We paid for where our children will be able to have a good living, playground, green field, and a road that is paved up to avoid all of this kind of flooding. But yeah, you can see, even what you are seeing now is a situation where you have a pumping machine that is pumping the water out. And the rain fell for 15 minutes, and we have been pumping for more than 1 hour. This is the level you are seeing now. This is unacceptable.
You can see the sewage treatment plant is not working. What we are standing on at the moment as we speak, I'm standing on fecal material, feces, spillages from drainages and all that. The succor that we have had for some part of the estate as per the flooding system is the canalization that Lagos State recently did. And because of that, the Resident Association also came up with a series of efforts to do a desilting of the channel line. Most of the drainage systems that you see are poorly constructed. Some are unfinished.
Besides leaking sewage and poor drainage, epileptic power supply is another challenge faced by residents.
Currently, we are struggling to extend the 33 kVA line that we already have here to the island, and that's because we went to EKEDC to see how we can use another corridor to bring in 33 kVA to the people on the island. But unfortunately, EKEDC declined that approval, and we are only left on the self-help of trying to move the 33 line from the current network we have down to the island. As we speak, we have gotten a quotation of a minimum of 12.8, while the highest is 16.8. We are still negotiating. These are infrastructures that if the developer had put in place, perhaps we won't be spending this much. We've invested more than 20 million on our own, trying to see how we can salvage or manage the infrastructures we have, power infrastructures we have here.
As evidence of efforts made by the residents to resolve these challenges, series of letters written to the developer are displayed publicly.
Since 2014, when people started occupying this facility, these issues has been on. So over 7 years, there has not been any definite response. So hence we need Richard Enyong to come to talk with the residents and give them a specific timeline when these projects will be completed.
Well, I've been in this estate since 2016, and since then it's been one issue after the other. So as people, as an individual, we've made several efforts to get the developer to deliver on his deliverables. So at the time we keyed into this project, it came as an off-plan project. So, and then what that means is that we are considered as partners in this development. So we put our money down, invested our money, hoping that all the covenants, the promises that the developer had given us in the sales agreement will come to fruition. Part of it is motorable ways, drainage system, electricity, primary health care facility, schools, amongst so many other things. You know, we had that much confidence in him and we gave in our best, but along the line the developer collected his money and could not fulfill his promise. And when we did the site tour, they found out that yes, the sewage system is in a deplorable situation. So they made their recommendation and gave notices to them. First notice, second notice, up to the point that the agency had to serve them an abatement notice.
While these infrastructural challenges persist, more housing units are being built by the developer.
From where I come, I believe that if you cannot help my problem, please don't complicate it. If you don't have adequate infrastructure, how then do you have the infantry to even build more in a place where the infrastructure is not even adequate for the people that are living in there, you know? So I think we have been patient enough as people. We've tried to express ourselves. We are law-abiding citizens. We do not want trouble. We just want to live our life. And I don't think we are demanding for too much.
The solution to these problems are summarized in a 17-point demand by residents, which include general overhauling of the sewage treatment plant by the developer to ensure optimal functionality, provision of sewage and drainage pipeline layout of the estate, extension of 33 kVA power line, and the provision of transformers to match the new construction being embarked on. A management staff of Lekki Gardens Limited, Emmanuel Essien, says the company is aware of the infrastructural challenges in the estate, but that it has met its obligations to home subscribers and therefore not responsible for their maintenance afterwards.
When you install a new infrastructure, it's really what it is, right? When it's used to a point of disrepair, it's not necessarily because it wasn't provided, it's because of negligence, it's because the owners did not take up the responsibility of really seeing to the fact that they manage or maintain this infrastructure correctly. If I give you a brand new car today, nothing changes the fact that it's a brand new car. If you drive carelessly and you smash it on your way out of here, then it's no longer my problem because I gave you a brand new car, right? And so this project began over 8 years ago. And so if a year or two after, like he says, right, which, I mean, I can't verify any of that right now, but really, whose responsibility would that be? Would it be that of the developer who provided it and provided a functional one at that, or that of the residents who did not maintain and manage it as stipulated in the contract of sale? However, as a responsible business, it's our obligation to make sure we make our clients happy, especially if the responsibility falls directly on us. And in cases where it doesn't fall directly on us, we try to understand their pain points and see how we can support them to help them have better experiences.
More so, residents are requesting the developer to meet with them physically and give a realistic timeline to fix the problems. In the wake of the protest, we received eyewitness videos and pictures showing officials of the Lagos State Wastewater Management Office sealing the Estate Management Office. According to the reporter, the action was necessitated by the refusal of Lekki Gardens to respond to letters written to them concerning sewage and drainage issues in the estate.
There's no right. You can stay inside and then they'll lock you in.
That's how we wrap up this week's edition of the program. See you again next week. I am Yomi Otaigbe.